Hey everyone, welcome to the TL tutorial video. The video script will be in the description in case you ever want to reference or translate anything. Anyways, before I start explaining the process of TL, I'd like to give a little context and backstory to it. TL, also known as TL reading, is named after TTTL, a very old convert player who popularized the method. He also named the method after himself, as it was his method of hitting convert finishers in 1/8. If you're interested, a link to his blog post about it will be linked in the description. TL is a method that players use in order to hit patterns that aren't hittable by playing normally. All patterns can be hit with TL, though the more the complexity of the pattern rises, it makes using TL exponentially more difficult. In general, simplistic patterns such as monochromatic streams or streams that repeat KDDDK are hit using TL. These patterns tend to be illustrated within older converts and are not as present within newer converts. Anyways, it's important to note that TL is not the only method of hitting patterns at fast speeds, but it is a very popular one. With some basic background out of the way, let's begin the tutorial. If you have some background in Taiko, you probably heard TL described as hitting the same key of two fingers or hitting the same key twice. While those descriptions aren't necessarily wrong, they don't imply the actual TL method. Alright, now let's take a closer look at the actual method itself. If you have used the KDDK playstyle before, there's a very high chance you have actually done the motions for TL before. The best explanation of TL is to imagine hitting a spinner by rolling with KDDK keybinds, rolling left middle to left index and right middle to right index in order to hit a spinner. That motion is TL. Here are some example videos of TL. Notice the alternating rolling. The next topic of interest is keybinds. The same motion can be used to hit different patterns, and it all depends on hand placement and keybinds. Any style keybinds are fine and can be changed depending upon what pattern you need to hit, but they must always be close keybinds. There are some scenarios when you don't use close keybinds, but in general you must use close keybinds in order to reap all the benefits from TL. Close keybinds mean keybinds like VBNM or FGHJ. All the keycaps are touching each other basically. This is of course only important if you are not using numpad keybinds. Numpad is generally recommended for more advanced players as it allows for better hand movement and more patterns are able to be hit. Of course, even on a numpad, the keybinds must be close, but generally people use a square grid style of keybinds, such as numpad 1, 2, 4, and 5. In actual practice, it doesn't really matter what you use, you should just use what you need in order to hit the pattern. Also, just adding this in here, you might be able to TL better on some keys, such as the arrow key compared to the generic keys on your keyboard. It's all about trial and error in this case. In order to be able to TL, you will need to play on a keyboard that's capable of TLing. While you can do TL on any keyboard and any keycap type, some keyboards make it significantly harder to do it than others. Mainly, don't use scissor or membrane keycaps when trying to TL, as compared to mech, any switch is fine. The difference is night and day. It's a little hard to explain, but it is mainly due to the springiness and height of the keycaps. If you try it yourself, you'll notice the difference. Anyways, the point is that it's strongly recommended to use a mech keyboard for TL. When considering the difficulty of a burst or pattern, one of the most important factors is the OD of the map. This should be obvious, but higher OD means a shorter hit frame, which in reference to bursting means that you need to be more accurate than if you're playing the map at a lower OD. Basically, it just means you need to do less mashing when you're playing higher OD maps, and since converts are generally high OD, it's something to take note of. If you are struggling to hit a section, try using easy, as it can help a lot solely from the OD. Though playing only low OD converts to practice TL could spawn in bad habits, such as mashing more than doing the proper motion. In regards to stamina, it mostly relies on finger control. What I mean is that to hit a burst that is 6 notes, you don't really need finger control, more just raw burst speed. However, as the patterns increase in length, you need finger control in order to stay consistent with the speed and not to accidentally fat finger or slip up. While TLing, you may come across finisher big note streams. These streams require more finger control than anything, and especially compared to non-finisher streams. Personally, I'm not great at them, but the strategy I found to work is to imagine hitting a stream at whatever BPM the map you're playing is, but it's 2 separate streams with each key. I'm aware this explanation sucks ass, but just focus on finger control and not on speed, and in the description is a link to a video that demonstrates the technique to hit finisher streams. Also, you can use TL to hit finishers midstream. When you do, make sure you hit it like a finisher and that you don't roll to hit the finisher. Hit both keys at once like a chord jack on Mania. Do not roll your index/middle fingers. This applies to literally every skill in existence, but learning TL takes time. You likely won't be fantastic at it right away, and it takes serious time and training in order to gain speed and accuracy. Don't be dismayed if you make slow progress, just try to have fun with it and know improvement takes more than a day. I feel like I should mention this here because it's a TL alternative for hitting long monostreams. Basically, in Taiko, mouse 1 and mouse 2 are considered different inputs than Don 1 and Don 2. This basically means that using your mouse, you get a third input. This allows you to hit monostreams by having one hand on the keyboard and the other hand on your mouse, but you still need some finger control to get accuracy and speed. It's generally harder to be consistent with mouse and keyboard, but it has a lower skill barrier and it's basically easier in all other aspects. Just know that using this method may cause your replay to break, showing misses where you didn't. If you have ever watched a convert replay and wondered why people have misses on parts they definitely didn't miss, it's due to using mouse and keyboard breaking the replay. Since the game doesn't register both mouse 1 and D1 or mouse 2 and K2 as different inputs in a replay. Also, this is just a guess, I don't actually know how this works, but I'm just presuming. I feel it's important to note the practicality of TL, especially within modern converts. As mentioned earlier, the easier TLable patterns haven't really been seen in modern converts. I want to reiterate that unless you have an actual reason to be learning TL, you probably shouldn't. Converts most likely won't be PP again after all the reworks are applied. However, in the upcoming rework, it could be warranted to farm converts, and it takes a while to see significant improvement for TL. Of course, this obviously varies per person, I'm just generally speaking. Anyways, thanks for watching.